Hi, now I'm wearing a t-shirt again because luckily it has cooled down a lot. It's now relatively cool here in Pfeffikon ZH. I'm happy and glad. Most important now is to talk about, and I'm also wearing a t-shirt now again because it's more cool. I have thought a lot about the comment of this YouTube user that wrote 2 comments here at the bottom of one of my videos that I did a couple of days ago. He or she wrote 2 comments, and yeah. I think his or her name is something like transhumanist decomposition philosophy. I think this was the username. So I think I have to apologize for my wording for some of my wording in the video, obviously, because there was obviously a misunderstanding. I didn't make it clear that I always thought of course, voluntary, in German freiwillige, voluntary eugenics. So, which is also how do you say, I don't even know it in German, the consensus in transhumanism. Eugenics has, of course, always have to be voluntary, so that individuals... Oh, I see that my eye looks a little bit red. That eugenics, of course, always has to be voluntary, so that parents can decide themselves on their own, without interference from the government or from a population, should the government be transformed into a real e-democracy. The parents are free to decide what they want. If they want a child that is naturally conceived, or a child that is conceived by artificial insemination, in vitro fertilization, for example by sperm of a mathematics prize winner, as I suggested, but the parents are free. This is absolutely crucial. Yeah, because otherwise we really have an authoritarian or even totalitarian form of society. This would be horrible. And totally at odds with the principle of love. And what I already wrote in my comment. Of course, eugenics has to be the population has to have the power to say what should be allowed and not in eugenics. So it's always the population that decides what kind of eugenics should be realized, be implemented. And should there ever be any mandatory eugenics introduced, of course the population has to decide this. Should it be necessary? And also very important is that the population remains in power forever, for eternity, and that it can always, so that no government or something like that can ever decide for mandatory eugenics, and that the population can always revise or modify or alter its decision, in German zurückkommen auf eine Entscheidung, so that we have the the law can flexibly be changed according to developments, outcomes, needs, according to scientific findings, knowledge, in which direction the genetic properties of individuals and the population should go. So if eugenics almost certainly voluntary eugenics that has been decided on by the people, if it should go in a wrong direction, if it should, for example, diminish genetic diversity too much, the population can always steer or direct the reproduction in another direction that it initially intended. Yeah. In German Gegensteuer geben. Yes, we have this, and this is just my own opinion, is that for my own children, like that I want to express it, and I also suggest it to other parents, but this is just a suggestion, not a demand. It's as a suggestion. For my own children, I would like to have maybe 2 children. One would be fathered by myself, so that my own genes can live, or at least 1 generation further. I would, of course, as soon as gene editing, CRISPR or something like that, becomes technologically possible, I would improve my child with gene editing so that some particular genes would be edited. But it would, of course, have to be safe, this technology. Sufficient knowledge would have to be available before something like that would be done, so that it would be sufficiently safe. One could exclude editing errors or errors in interpreting the genome. And so like that I could hopefully improve the intelligence, talents, abilities, skills, looks, sense of humor, mathematical intelligence particularly, but also general intelligence, so that I could improve my child selectively, but it would still be my genome. And then the second child, I would probably conceive with sperm from a mathematics prize winner. Should he, of course it would have to be a man, because women don't give sperms. Okay, you could of course also take the genome out of an egg, but this is at the moment probably not yet feasible. So that I would take the sperms, or my wife or my partner would take would inject the sperm of a mathematics prize winner. And of course, as soon as this sperm would be unaltered, possibly, because in case of gene editing not being possible yet, and in case of gene editing already possible, then of course the sperm would be checked, would be controlled, and maybe it would be improved, or at least it would be made sure that a sperm with maximum intelligence traits would have been selected from the mathematics prize winner's sperm. Yeah. And not one which doesn't have the traits for very high intelligence. I just wanted to say this. But of course, as I have to say it again, it is crucial that eugenics is done on a voluntary base, that every parent, every parent every woman, especially woman, because of course a woman can also decide to have a child alone. That every woman can decide which kind of what she wants, what kind of child she wants, and that she is not forced to have a child in any way. Or a child with a certain trait that she doesn't want. And of course everything has to be mandated by democratically, by the population. And what I also wrote in my answer to this Facebook user is that I don't want to be a right-wing guy. This is very important. I don't want to develop from left to right. Never. And I hope this will also be the case, so that I always stay a left-wing guy. That this means that I believe in social justice, in the empowerment of poor, less talented, marginalized, disenfranchised individuals and communities, and that I defend and try to improve their rights, and not the rights of the powerful, of the successful, of those who already have a lot and are in power. This, of course, this always has to remain like that, and eugenics also always has to work in the interest of the people who have less power or no power at all, and who are discriminated against, who are yeah. Okay, thanks. And I will test. I have now the live stream, YouTube live streaming functionality has now been activated, so I will make a test video to see how long this live stream can be. So don't watch this test live stream, because we will not see anything on there. It will be boring if you watch it. I just have to find out how long this live stream can be. And what I will also have to do is a second video about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, without S, where I will provide a little bit more thoughts about this very unfortunate conflict. Okay, thanks a lot, and also thanks again, transhumanistic composition philosophy user, for your valuable input and your criticism against me, although it was very harsh, but you are absolutely right. Yeah, thanks for watching, and peace. Bye. Bye, thanks.